Lovelies, my name is Jessica and welcome to Make a Misfit, and I have a deck of panning update for you guys today. So of course, as always, information about this will be down in the description box, so go check it out if you are curious. But I'm ready to show you guys the progress that I have made over the past 4 weeks or so. So we're going to start off with the products that have been in here for the longest, and quite a few months back I rolled the Queen of Spades, which was to represent another project. So for that I chose to go with ColourPan, which was created by Misty. It's a project where you're working on your ColourPop products. So I decided to roll in the cream gel liner in Sunnyvale. Now if you actually watched my last update, I was about to roll this out, but I realized that if I kept rolling past the clicks, there was a little bit of product that actually came out. So I decided to keep it in. And if you can hear the clicks, and again, the bottom just broke, you can see that there's no product coming out of the top. So I've completely finished this off now. I believe it was only one use after the last update that I was actually able to get any product up. Nothing came up after that. I think I really was only able to get like one brow finished, so I kind of spread it out a little bit, had to kind of make it work. But this is completely finished and out of my collection, which I'm really happy about because I really wasn't reaching for this until I brought it into this project, and I'm happy I did because, as I've heard before, these tend to dry up and I didn't want it breaking on me and losing the product that way and having to get rid of it. I wanted to use up what I could, so I'm very happy that this is now finally out of my collection, and I do not plan, on repurchasing any of those cream gel liners. So next I had the Two of Spades, which was a duo or a multi-chrome. So I chose my Clionadh Shadow in Sunbeam, and I just wanted to create a dip. So I decided to keep it in from the last update just to see how much further I could go. And if you can see there is a nice little dip. So I had continued to use this pretty regularly after I had my last update. And I didn't want to reach the pan necessarily, but I just wanted to create a dip that was a little bit more visible than what was showing at the last update 4 weeks ago. And I'm happy with where this is sitting at. So once I kind of hit that mark of being content with what the dip looked like, I have stopped using it. I think I may have reached for it once or twice after, just very lightly with my fingers, so it didn't actually make any progress, just to tap into the center of my lids. I really do love this shade. It is the only Clionadh shadow that I have, even though there's a few more that I want, but right now this is the only one that I have, and I'm happy with it. I love the way that it looks on my eyes. I love how I had it in my eyeshadow looks, and I'm happy to be rolling it out of this project. So then I had also rolled the Four of Hearts, which was a brand that you owned the most from. So I ended up going with NARS because I pretty much, technically, I think my Too Faced was the most. I had one more product from Too Faced than I did a bunch of other brands. But because I was currently working on a Too Faced product in another project, that product technically I didn't include into my collection because I was working on it. So nonetheless, I had quite a few brands that I had, about 7, I believe the number was, products from. So I decided to go with NARS because I had more NARS products than I realized I did. So I chose the Deep Throat Blush. Now my goal for this is to hit pan on it, and I still have a bit of a ways to go. But I can kind of see on the sides of the pan that it is making some progress. I do use this almost daily. I really do enjoy this blush as well. I like to pair it with a couple of other ones, and I kind of rubbed my finger across it just yesterday or the day before just to kind of see what the progress was looking like, and it feels like it's flat. But then I actually looked at the pan itself and noticed a little bit of a dip along the sides. Not necessarily a dip, but just like the usage was kind of going down a bit compared to the corners of the pan. But because this is so small, my brush hits the whole thing. Even though sometimes I feel like the bristles of the brush are focusing more so in the center of the pan, I feel like after I rub my finger across it, it really is just taking the whole pan. So this is going to be a slow going product, which is fine with me. If I hit pan on this before the end of this project, then that's going to be pretty awesome. But if I don't, then that's okay, because I will more than likely continue to use this in the next upcoming year. So that's staying in. So at the last update, I rolled in 2 brand new products. So the first product, or the first prompt that I rolled, was the Ace of Spades, which was to choose your own space. So I decided to go with the 2 of Spades, which this time around was Indie. And I have had the Indie brand before as well, but I knew exactly what I wanted to use for this. And I had a Give Me Glow eyeshadow that had completely shattered on me. So my goal for this was just to finish it up because I only had the bottom of what was left on the pan for the most part. So this is what the shade is looking like now. This was Party Monster, and as you can see, the pan itself is pretty well empty, but all of the product is still along the sides of the pan. So this is staying in. I do want to completely finish it off, so I will have to kind of focus my brush onto the edges of the pan and see how well that's going to work, or maybe try my finger. We'll have to see what the best application is for it that way. I don't necessarily want to scrape it into the center and repress it. I want to try and use it the way that it is and see how long that's going to take me. Again, I really enjoyed pairing this with the Clionadh shade. They are both in here. So wearing the both of these on my lids, I really enjoyed how that looked. A lot of the times I paired that with Hot Mess from my Mercury Retrograde palette, which is my Panning Solitaire palette this year. I really enjoyed that look as well. But again, once I kind of had hit a decent dip in this, I stopped using it, and I just haven't reached for Party Monster in quite a while. So I do want to get back into that because I really do enjoy that shade. It's just a bit of a disappointment that it shattered and broke on me. So then I also rolled in the 7 of Diamonds, which was pattern. So it was a product that you had to wear away the pattern on. So I went with my ColourPop Tearing Up My Heart blush. Now, I feel for myself, it's easier to wear away the pattern in a product, especially if it's the whole pan in the center, and it's a lot more difficult for me to wear away the pan along the edges. So of course, that's how this one is looking. As you can see, well, okay, on camera right now, it looks like the whole thing is completely worn away. So if you can really see right around this edge, there's still some of the pattern. Most of the edges still do have. That's pretty much the more prominent one, actually. There's a little bit along this side and a little bit up here, but this is like the more prominent one. You really can't see it on camera right now, though. Maybe right about there you can. But again, the center of this is completely worn away. So I am going to keep this in here for another month because I think with consistent use, I'll be able to, if I focus my brush around the edges, be able to wear away the pattern. I have been trying to do that and it really hasn't been working too well, so I might switch up the brush and see if I can make it work. But I do think, because technically the pattern is still on here, I am going to keep this in the project for a little bit longer. So I think I'm rolling out 2 shades, which means I get to roll in 2 brand new prompts or choose 2 prompts from these cards. So I have shuffled a little bit, but I'm going to shuffle with you guys now. And we are just going to pick the 2 cards that are on the top of this palette. So every card is in here, even those random cards. I just pulled it out of the thing here and just started shuffling. So we'll see what we choose. But I'm really excited to see what we're going to get. So I'm going to put up the game board for you guys just to see what we may or may not get. All right, so the first card is the 10 of Clubs. And the second card is the King of Hearts. So let's take a peek and see what we have. So the 10 of Spades is Body Care, and the King of Hearts is Oldest Product. Okay, so I'm going to go take a peek through my collection, see what I can gather for these 2 prompts, and I will be right back. I am back with my products, and I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to work out in this project because I think this ends in December, so I've got 2 months to try and meet my goals, but we're gonna make it work. So I rolled in the 10 of Spades, which was Body Care. So for that, I actually chose this sunscreen by Neutrogena. Now, even though it is now fall time, the reason why I chose this is it expires in February of 23, so I'm not going to be able to use this next year. I used this a bit during the summer, But I just want to use it up. And I know that even though, you know, you're supposed to wear sunscreen every single day, so why not try and bring this into my routine? Yeah, so my goal is to finish this. I hope that I can do it before December. If I'm very diligent about using this, then I feel like I probably could make some really good progress. I do have the rest of September, all of October, November, and December. So there is still quite a few months. I feel like I could probably make some really good use on this as long as I remember to reach for it and actually use it. So we'll see where I'm sitting at with this by the next update. I'm not quite sure where I'm sitting at in here, so I'm not going to be able to mark anything, which I don't really like doing anyways. But we'll just see what the progress or what the bottle, the packaging is looking like at the next update. And then for my oldest product, so that was the King of Hearts. And now I kind of couldn't really figure out if I wanted to pick an actual like blush or a highlighter. But instantly when I think oldest product, I always tend to go towards my eyeshadow palettes because more often than not, I've had my eyeshadow palettes longer than I've had any of my other products because I have worked through quite a few of them. So the one palette that always comes to mind first, whether it's actually my oldest or not, I'm not 100% sure. I really feel like there's a couple that could be close, but I'm bringing in my Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. Now, I'm only going to focus on one shade in here, which is going to be Sprinkles here, and I do want to hit pan. So that is going to be my goal. We will see how long that's going to take me. I have really good use on this palette, and I feel like if I roll this in and use like a shade at a time, or like roll the one palette into different products and just focus on different shades, then I can probably make some really good progress on this, because this is something that I want to completely finish off. Only a few shades. Some of them I do want to actually declutter and get out of my collection. But this palette, for some reason, just, as I've said multiple times, just has my heart for one reason or another. So I would like to hit pan in that Sprinkles shade. So that is what my oldest product is going to be for that prompt. So that is it for this project. So I'm very excited for the upcoming update in a few weeks. I'm really curious to see how much progress I'm actually going to make on this blush and this blush, and see if I can finish off Party Monster, or if I can get pretty close. I do think I'll be able to finish it off before the end of this year, so that will be nice, because then I can actually get one eyeshadow out. And then I'm curious about my next two. So I'm not quite sure how long it's going to take me to hit pan on the shade right here. There is a slight dip that I can feel, but these are very hard pressed, so it will take a little bit of time. But if I'm diligent with it, again, I'm sure I could make it work, whether I use it on the inner corner or even a little bit on my, like as a highlighter or something, because I kind of don't mind that shade as a very light, nothing too fancy highlighter. So we'll see how it goes. I'll blend it with other items and we'll see what kind of looks I can come up with. And then that sunscreen, I just want to get it out of my collection because it's just going to sit around, and if I don't use it, then it's just a big waste. So that is what I'm working on. That's everything for this update. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye.